What's going on, y'all? We back once again, Bridging the Gap podcast with another fire episode. This your boy Rashad, aka Culture Chronicles. I'm here with my wonderful co-host, wonderful crew. You know how we do. We get the job done every time. Here with my wonderful sis, ZsaTiera, health and wellness guru. Of course, the beautiful first lady of all of this, including ICANDO, Sister Rashad Cobb, and my brother, Malik White. October 25th. Check the book out. Thanks for listening.
Yes, sir.
October 25th. Go check that out. Go buy that.
Yeah.
We're here for another episode. Last episode, we touched on how us as a people can grow, and that starts with us not persecuting each other, not being negative with each other, elevating each other, things like that, right? So I kind of want to move it forward to how we can bring in other cultures, other ethnicities, and things of that sort, where we can all move forward together. Because I feel like we live in a world now where we can all work together.
Yeah.
There's more freedom. There's more resources. There's less, I would say, less judgment when it comes to working with other races and other backgrounds now. So, and I guess I'll kick it off by saying I think one of the issues we have is we're not informing each other. We don't take the time to inform each other. We don't take the time to try to give each other information, whether it's black, white, Asian descent, Spanish descent, anything like that. So I kind of want to start there. What do you think is one of the issues as to why we don't inform each other, or we don't give it the energy that maybe we should? Anybody can start.
Definitely just programming more than anything. We've been told and taught to gatekeep, especially when it comes within our own community, to make sure that we take care of our own people, take care of ourselves. But I was having a conversation with you not too long ago about our bosses and how they help plummet us forward, and how, it's just really good people, bad people, but it's not really a race behind it. Like, we can have our own people that do us kind of dirty, and it'd be based upon that, but it have a different culture of a person who just a kind person in general. So it's not always a matter of race. Sometimes it's just a matter of good and bad people, and being able to be okay and be open to the fact that not everybody is looking at us in a negative light, and everybody isn't out to get us, and making sure that we're able to be open and receptive to that help. So I think that it is possible. I know that it's possible. I'm walking testament of it happening right now with the position that I'm in right now, and I'm grateful. So it's more so just being open to the idea that everybody isn't out to get you. Yeah. Everybody doesn't have a negative stigma on our culture. We don't have to always look at another group of people as somebody who's above or beneath. Like, we're all beside each other, and if we all look to try to help each other, then just keep that space open, that line open.
And to your point, so like she said, her and I had a conversation about, so everybody knows my boss she's retired now, but for 27 years. So in 1997, white woman hired me. I was in school. I had just started back school for, because my major was accounting. And so I'm like, okay, I need to get a position in accounting, at least so I can learn as I go, while I'm in school. So once I graduate, hey, I got it. Boom, I'm ready to start the career. Yeah. And she hired me. Every promotion I got was her. When I decided to go back to school, she's like, hey, the company pays for it. I'm going to get you this tuition reimbursement. And I want to, and like I remember when new accounting principles would come out, she'd go buy me the book, that you need for the government, right? She'd buy me the book. Hey, these new pronouncements came out. Here's the book. So you need to know these. Was like one of my biggest champions while I was finishing school, while I was working for her, and prepared me to step into her role before she retired. Like, so she never, from day one, she promised me but I would be where I am today.
Yeah.
And typically when somebody tells you that, it's like, and of another race, you're like,
yeah, false hope.
So I did kind of in the back of my head, like, okay, you just make sure you do your job. Do your job and do it well. Because, again, like we talked about the last episode about, because here is another thing. I was the only black at that time, and I worked in the corporate office. Still do, but I'm not the only black now. But I was only black at that time, right? So I did have that feeling like, oh my gosh, like this is just I had never worked in a place where I was, you know, I worked at the bank before that, and it was predominantly Black, right? The employees. So I'm like, okay, oh my gosh, I got to really like focus on what I'm doing. Like I got to like really be this superstar. And we talked about that, how, you know, you're being only Black, you feel like you have to work that much harder.
Yeah.
But it was like she already saw something in me. So I was able to take that whole wall down and not look at her as the white woman.
Yep, absolutely.
She she was my career mentor.
Absolutely.
All those years, she was my career mentor.
Yeah.
But again, it's we got to take that wall down.
Yep.
And then she, not outside of accounting, she taught me so much more about life. Like I got to get an inside look at her life as a white woman. She got to get an inside look at my life as a Black woman. Like we learned each other's culture. Yeah.
And I think also it's like we all have these pre-notions or the stereotypes.
There you go.
So we associate with certain groups and cultures, like this is how that group is, so therefore everybody's like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a reason as to why we don't see as much cross-culture, cross-race collaboration as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. Just the stereotypes. And I think we have to stop depending on the internet and
Absolutely.
public fodder and public
Fast and
notions to direct us. Like, you know, with how we see different nationalities and different cultures and different backgrounds. Like we have to stop doing that. We have to really start doing the legwork and start talking to our friends of different nationalities or you know, teachers or colleagues or peers, whoever. I think we have to start really talking and really starting to figure out what our commonalities are. Like where it's a lot of situations where we figure out that, man, we got a lot more in common than we realize, right?
Yeah.
Just perfect example. Just me in high school. Just my when I transferred to my second high school, my last 2 years of high school, and I had developed friendships with different just nationalities, Black, white, Hawaiian, Asian, Spanish, right? And the chemistry and the bonds that we built from different backgrounds, and I that was the first time in my life where I seen something come together and mesh just so well. Like just all the ingredients came and it was just like a good meal on the table because we all brought something different to the table. Where it's like I brought whatever flavor I had, and this friend brought this flavor, and then we kind of took things from each other. And I can remember one of my Black friends that was in high school with me, on the basketball team with me, and I remember we both transferred there the same year, and we were it was probably 3 of us on the basketball team that were Black, right? And just throughout that season, we just seen the transformation where we rubbed off on everybody, like, but it wasn't just like that they would try to mimic our style or how we walked or talked. It was, and they go back to what you said about your mentor. It was the belief we put in them. Like, hey, walk with some confidence. Hey, you can. Hey, if you got a little swag, man, show it, man. You're not. Don't fake the funk. If you got it in you, you got it in you, right? And so I think that the commonality aspect of it needs to be emphasized more. You know, and I take that as a life lesson because I'm like, man, and not just them learning from us, but I learned from them. And I learned like this, like just going to their houses or being around their families. I'm like,
the different cultures.
They got some of the same type of conversations and issues that we had in our household. And sometimes it was even kind of worse, like, you know, just kind of how they would talk or how they would speak to their parents. I remember I used to come home to my mom and be like, I'm like, Mom, like, if I would have said that,
and I'm like,
I would have been a witness protection.
He said,
like I'm like, wow, you know. So that the stereotypes but also the belief. Like we have to put that belief in each other that we can take something from each other, and because we all better together than apart.
Absolutely.
You know, not just our people, but all the other
people,
races.
And it's crazy because people confuse that with cultural appropriation.
Come on.
Yep.
Speak on it.
They confuse that with cultural appropriation. It's different when somebody, like if I had a young kid who was not of my race, and they're learning from me and they're taking everything from me and I'm guiding them and I'm mentoring them, initially they're gonna in some way act like me in some aspects.
Yeah.
That's not culture appropriation. It's more so their mentor was an African American man.
Yeah.
So it's that trying to figure out what is culture appropriation and what isn't culture appropriation.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So what do we think about? Well, okay, I want to kind of transition it to the cultural coalition with our youth, right? Our younger generations, our future generations, present generations. What is it that we can do to bridge the gap, to pass the knowledge down, to kind of be better examples? And if we already are good examples, to be even more good, better examples to our youth as far as bringing different nationalities together, working together for a common goal. Because I believe that we don't have that enough. Part of that I feel is because of the time we live in, whether it's the internet, whether it's society. It's a lot of stigmas out there. But I believe it starts with us. Whether it's us as parents, educators, coaches, teachers, things like that. So, what do we think, like what type of resources do we feel we need to put forth in order for our youth to kind of see it how we see it?
I think it's definitely like leading with like facts over feelings.
Right.
I think unfortunately, like, we don't live in the best time. I don't think we've ever lived in the best time. Like, I do have to let my son know, like, to look out for certain things. I do have to give him a little bit more information when it comes to protecting himself with different types of people. He does need to know that. But I think that before I start thinking with my feelings and saying all people are bad, all these white people are bad people, I want him to lead with kindness. So when I teach my son to lead with kindness, he goes out into the world a little bit better with a lot more respect for other people, love for other people. Yep. And you have to be an actual bad person for him to see you that way. Mm-hmm. Whereas instead of saying like, all white people are this or all Spanish people are that, I don't lead with how I feel because of what's going on or what has happened to us or what we've endured. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when we teach the children how to lead with kindness, how to lead with love, they'll go out into the world and they'll share that. And so I think that nothing beats being kind in general. And we still have to keep them fully prepared, fully aware of what's going on around them so that they do go in the world with some more information to make sure that they do protect themselves. But everything doesn't need protection. So I think the first thing is leading with facts, leading with kindness, and making sure that they're aware of what's going on and not just partial information.
Yeah.
Yep. And go ahead.
Because you don't know, like you said, it's good to kind of equip them as well because you don't know what another kid is being taught. Like we're teaching ours, lead with kindness. Yeah. But they may be approached with a kid that doesn't. Mm-hmm. So they need to know how to handle that, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Situation and still be able, find that balance, still be able to lead with kindness. But like you said, inform them so they can be able to identify whether this is bad or not. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Exactly. Whether I'm being treated unfairly or not. So I think it is that because naturally with kids, they just gravitate to, it doesn't matter what the race or what anything, they just automatically kind of gravitate, you know what I mean, to each other, to just like, they don't see. And I remember as a kid, I did my best friend on our block was a white girl when I was little, right? In elementary school, my best friend was Spanish. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So, and I didn't see, of course, as I got older, I was like, wow, my best friend, when you start kind of learning about racism and all this, I'm like, wow, but we were best friends like that. We didn't look at I didn't look at her as racism. She didn't look at me as it's taught. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like you said, I think it's informing them, but also teaching them to lead with kindness, but informing them not so they could be on the defense, but just informing them to be aware.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a question for you, Malik, because I know you being an educator, working with kids on the daily, right? Do you run into those type of obstacles where you find yourself trying to bridge those gaps, where you see these different races or different races of kids, and trying to get them to work together and kind of guiding them together to see y'all have more commonalities than you realize?
Yeah. I think it's more so like teaching the kids how to focus on like what they have in common versus the color of their skin.
Right. Yep.
And so I'm fortunate to be at a school where we develop that type of culture.
Yeah.
You know, everybody is welcome.
Right.
That mentality, and also myself being that example. You know, being able to, you know, relate to this culture or these type of people, and this, you know, I keep myself as like a chameleon in a sense.
Okay.
You know, I blend in where I need to blend in, and I also learn culture.
Yeah.
So it's
like
not
that.
just me. Like, I'm an educator. I know what I know, but also I'm also learning everybody else's culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm also given the opportunity for everybody else's culture to be represented at the school.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yes.
what comes
Yeah.
with specific days, specific months, holidays, we celebrate all that just so that we highlight everybody's culture
Right.
and to show that diversity.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, to your point about celebrating other cultures, and you know, because I remember being young when we lived in Gardena. You know, one of my first friends was right across the street, and he was Spanish. And I remember just going over there, spending a lot of time over there, and that was really the first time that I had, for example, like authentic Spanish food.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm just like, I'm used to eating what we eat.
Yeah.
And so I'm just, so when I get over there, I'm like, okay. And at first I'm looking at it like, I never had this before, you know? Like, but once I dove into it and just being over there, spending time with them, I'm like, okay, like it wasn't more so of the certain techniques or things that they would do within their household. It was how they did it together.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like my family.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot of celebrations, we have different occasions, and we do it together. It's about the time, and that alone made me want to learn their culture more, just for the simple fact that it felt so genuine.
Yeah.
And when you feel something so genuine, it just makes you want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
You know, because you can relate in a sense. And I was just a little kid at the time, so knowing what I know now, I'm glad I had that open mind. You know, to kind of not shove it away before I gave it a chance.
Yep.
Sometimes we'll look at something, and like I said, it goes back to the internet, the public fodder of what we think we're supposed to know from what we read on the internet, instead of going into these houses and spending time with these kids and spending time with our friends, even outside of school, to learn these things, right? And also to kind of transition it. It's I believe a big thing about it is we have to allow ourselves to have others adapt to our environments and adapt to theirs. Whether it's being in this neighborhood, that neighborhood, this school, that school, this sport, that sport. You know, so I kind of want to get everybody's opinions on what we can do better as far as being more embracing and just adapting people to our environments, and also making it to where people feel comfortable enough to invite us into their worlds.
Yeah, I think that if I'm my authentic self at all times, and I'm showing up, like I don't code switch too bad. I code switch a little bit, but I don't code switch too bad. Like I'm authentically myself in a more reserved manner, so it lets people know who I am. Like I go to work and they'll tell you, like they know who I am, they know how I am, they know what I tolerate, they know what my lines are. I had an issue. It was so funny. I had a situation at work. I'm the only Black woman in my office, and at a situation where I hit the side of the wall, my nail flew off, took off. And it hit one of my coworkers right in the arm. And he was like, it bounced over there. And I said, don't you ever say that it bounced anywhere. You just look at me and keep going. Don't embarrass me. Because, you know, certain things, don't
like it happened. Don't
play with me like that. Don't play with me like that.
Don't put no attention
and
on
everybody sat there and they laughed, and that was funny, but they know like I'm like that. So I think that when you're authentically yourself in those spaces, whether you're Black, white, indifferent, I feel like you get to see who people are. So now I know, like, do I want to go into this space? Like I have a lot of Hispanics at my job.
Yeah.
And it's very open, like we do a lot of the things that make them feel comfortable. And I don't mind it at all, like because we are more predominantly Spanish. So I'm okay with learning Spanish just to have a conversation early in the morning, just to be able to have that camaraderie. And they love that. And I feel like and that's authentically how I feel. I want to be able to show up and make you feel comfortable. I still want to be my absolute self, and I don't want to change who I am or how I need to show up for you to like me. If either you want to be in my space because I show up that way, and you do the same. And I feel like when you do that, it leaves space. Now we can have these relationships outside of work, and we can have these conversations. I can learn about you and your family. You can learn about mine. And I feel like that is like the first turning point into people coming together and being able to have those authentic relationships. But I know for a fact it has to start with being okay with being who you are and not feeling like you need to change too much. I mean, in the most appropriate space. So I think that's the best part, to like allow people to come into your space and bring those other cultures and everybody in.
I think a perfect example of that is even in music, right? If you're a talent that's non-black, but you can sing your butt off, you can come to the cookout.
Right.
You can come to the cookout.
You
can come to
invite.
the studio. If you can sing like if you are like you a Robin Thicke or something, you know, Justin Timberlake or something,
Right.
and you got a soulful voice or something like that. We
You one of
embrace
us.
it. We
Like,
embrace
and
it
it is true. It's like,
because it's
you
something we resonate with.
You don't
know?
even see
It
the
don't matter.
cover.
Yeah,
Like Bobby Caldwell.
yeah.
Look, I'm screaming.
So that's it.
That's so
It's
for
true.
real.
so
No,
true.
it's true. You don't even
It's true.
see, you know.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
true.
Hey.
It's true. So that's just an example of it, you know. And but I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I love being embraceful, and yeah, I'm all for you know, adapting. So you know, what do you feel about just us doing better than we have been doing as far as adapting and getting others to adapt to our culture?
Well, one thing again I go back to is we got to take the wall down.
Yeah.
And because a lot of times you'll go and we don't just do it, other races do it.
Yeah.
You'll go in thinking like, okay, I'm just going to be quiet because I don't know how they do things. Instead of just take the wall down and don't assume that they're not going to like you because you're another color.
Come on.
That's where we mess up at. Like, don't assume that. You go in, like you said, your authentic self. Hey, I'm here. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. Again, when I started my job, 97, I did go in like that. Like, okay, oh my gosh. I walked in, I'm like, I'm the only black person. I'm like, this is awkward.
Yeah.
Like, so I went in with the wall up. Like, I'm not talking to anybody I don't need to talk to because y'all gonna piss me off. You're gonna say the wrong thing. Like, I went in, I'm 20 something. I was 24. Went in right with that. And then again, them welcoming me into, and now it was diverse, you know what I mean? And so it was them welcoming me in, and I'm like, and it felt weird, them welcoming me in.
Exactly,
And it's like, you know what? Wait, no, they're actually cool. And I've built some friendships, some long, like we're still today, you know. And so again, it is that taking that wall down and just being like you said, and not just hoping that they embracing you, but you take the wall down and be willing to embrace whatever they have to bring to the table.
Yeah.
I remember we used to have potlucks and everybody would bring something from there.
Yeah.
I used to get excited about it. I remember because they know we love peach cobbler.
Yeah.
And so they knew Dranita cooked the peach slopper. I would have her cook. They like, hey, for the potluck, can you have her? Because they asked me who cooked the peach cobbler, and I'm like, her. They're like, can you have her bring the peach cobbler again? You know what I mean? So and then it was things that they would cook, and I'm like, okay, you need to. If I'm bringing that, you need to bring
the
this.
fun.
We'd sit around at that conference table, and we'd have a ball, and we were able to not just eat together, but it provoked questions about your culture.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, and so we were able to learn each other because you never know. Like, some people really don't know.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times I think we're on the defense and we think like they know what they're talking about. Like, I found that some people really don't know.
At all.
And I found that I really don't know what I think I know about, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like we got to take a look at ourselves too, because we're guilty of doing that too. And so it was that I had to like, okay, you take the wall down. Like, come on, like these people are really being nice to you. And they've been, like I said, I'm still the most kindest, nice, beautiful people have treated me good, you know? So.
Yeah, and because that's taught though when
It's
you
taught.
think about it. Because
Yeah.
I know for sure, like I was told, like when I started moving up in corporate spaces, it's like, okay, go in, don't make friends, do your job,
Yep.
and so it's like we're kind of taught how to stay out the way, be
Yeah,
quiet, don't share too
yeah.
much, don't do too much,
Yeah.
don't like. So it's almost like the racism thing again. Like
Yeah.
that is taught. So of course we go in defensive because we've been already told how to show up so we can stay in these spots, so we can keep this position, so keep your mouth shut, don't do this, don't do too much of this. So
Yeah.
I think it's good that we go into these spaces authentic, and I think that is going to make it a little bit better, because I think what makes it harder for us, especially our culture, is when we're not ourselves,
Yeah.
and then they get a glimpse of it because something happened. It's like, oh, that was
didn't
too
know I was
much.
dealing with this
Right.
Yeah, they weren't prepared. But if I go in and I tell you what my boundaries are, I'm not afraid of showing up in my most authentic self, and we can all make sure that, you know, because everybody's not going to like it. Everybody's not going to love it, but it's okay. I feel like being authentic can never steer you wrong. And I feel like it's always going to put you in spaces where you feel comfortable, and you don't want to be anywhere that you got to be somebody else anyways in.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that is taught, and I'm glad that we can move forward knowing that, you know what, you can be yourself. You don't have to go in with your guard up. Like, go and be your most authentic self. And if they love you, they love you. If they hate you, they hate in anyways. It don't matter.
Right.
Like, there's nothing wrong with you. And I feel like that's probably like the best thing we could have done for ourselves and for other people, is not be afraid to show who we are, and take that pattern out where it's like, don't do something, be quiet and sit to the side and don't make friends. I'm so glad that we're past that narrative, because that is very much pushed as well, especially in our culture,
Definitely.
for
to
sure.
take a back seat. So.
Definitely.
I think everybody hit on the point. You know, be your authentic self.
Yeah.
And then just be willing and
Plain and
excited to learn about anyone else's culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like me personally, I was, you know, I went to UC Riverside, and UC Riverside is very, very diverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I walked in and I was like, all right, I'm about to learn about this person's culture, this person's culture. I'm glad I sit there, I have conversations, and we talk about, okay, y'all do that with you guys. This is how we do it over here.
Yeah.
And it's like another, like a history class in the sense, like I'm learning. And then I become a melting pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, okay, like for example, I have a Indian friend who's Hindu, and a lot of times in his, you know, in his family is meditation.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm able to take that from him. Like, okay,
Yeah.
meditation, you know, and how it helps him, and even their eating habits, right? What they eat, what they consume. It's so much you can learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so much you can learn. Like, but that also means you have to learn your culture so that you're able to teach someone else about your culture.
Right.
There you
That's
go.
it. Yep.
So if it's like I said, it starts with you.
Yeah.
Being your authentic self, knowing who you are, knowing where you come from, your background, so that you're able to have answers to these questions that people may have.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. That's good.
So I'll end with this. I feel at the end of the day, in order for all that to occur, we have to bring the right energy. Can't go into it bullheaded. Can't go into it thinking that everything is you want to do everything your way. You know, you kind of have to be open-minded, be embracing. You know, and so I feel like as long as we do that, I feel like we're gonna be in the right direction. So
Facts.
thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all tuning in. This was a wonderful topic. We just wanted to kind of give y'all a different little flavor. You know, we're just not about our race, our culture, but we're about everybody. So, like I said, you got some flavor, you're invited to the cookout. This your boy Rashad, Bridging the Gap podcast. We out.